Continuing on with our friend app, we now need to modify the manifest file to add some relevant statements so that the content provider code is available to our app, but also to other apps. So let's go and do that now. Okay, so we need to go back to our project and open the manifest file. So I'm clicking on the manifest menu, the manifest folder, clicking on Android manifest, and I'm just going to maximize that. So what we need to do is we need to add a special permission. We then need to add the fact that we're using that permission, and then we need to sort of define our content provider. So first things first, we're going to create a new permission. You saw in previous apps how we could use existing permissions, but we want to create our own permission for our content provider. So to do that, I'll type in permission, name equals, and I'm going to just use the name of our provider, it's org. Just go back and get it. It's in friends contract. So I'm going to copy that from the content authority. So that's the name of our provider, dot read write. And that can be an arbitrary, this can really be quite arbitrary. What I'm trying to do is make it to make sense so that what we're saying is for our provider, this permission is a read write permission, which means we've got full access to use all the functionality. Okay, so we've defined a new permission for our app. Next, we want to say we're using it because we're going to be using the other side of the app. We're going to be calling the code for this content provider. So we need to type users permission. And of course, it's org.example. It's the whole thing again. I'll just paste it in again. Dot read write. So one of them defines it, and the second one is for using it. And again, you saw in previous examples, if you didn't have a user's permission, for example, if you didn't have one to access the internet, the application would fail. In this case, the user's permission is doing just that. It's saying that we're able to use this permission. Our app is using this particular permission. So that's that correct. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to add our provider code. And we'll put that below the activity. So I'm going to type there, provider. And we're going to type the name first. The name will be friends.friendsProvider. That's the name of the class. So we're referring to the class that is our content provider. But also we need to type in authorities. And authorities will be the provider ID. So I'm pasting that in there as so. Then we want to type exported. Set that to true. What that means is other apps will be able to use this content provider in addition to our own app. We also need to define some permissions. We're going to type read permission. And we're going to go up here and copy this. So you could define a different permission for each, but we're going to define the same permission for both. So what we're doing is we're defining these are the permissions that an app needs to be able to read or write into this app. Read would be just using the query function effectively, or the get type, and of course writing would be inserting or updating or deleting. So that's the two permissions that we've defined, and that's it. So that's all the code we now need to add for a provider. So at this point in time, we've now built the basics of our app. In the next video I'm going to go through, we're just going to just experiment a little bit with the content provider to make sure that it works. We're going to try and add a record, retrieve some data, those types of things. And then in future videos after that, we'll start building an interface to use this code.